welcome to the Dog Chug.
Oh,
Who the hell's that?
Who am I? What is up, guys? Roger, Ross, what's going on here?
Hey, I don't know. You know what? This is a true story. We hope Andy's, I sent him a text. We're sitting around getting ready for the show with the guest, quarter till 10 till, and usually that's when we start putting it all together into one. And I text Andy and I said, hey, everything, he's he's got something going on. It was last minute. We text Ed and said, Ed, we need somebody to come on. Andy, something's happened. And so Ed's joining us tonight. He's going to help, host the show.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure what Ed said is Ed don't got shit going on.
Right, absolutely. I sent him a message. I was like, "Hey, Ed," and I didn't even click out of the DM. He's like, "Hey, Roger." I was like, he had his phone in his hand. It was that fast.
Unlike Clark Kent, I didn't have to go to a phone booth. I was ready.
You were ready, and you jumped on with us, and we appreciate it. Hope everything's good with Andy. I told him to let me know as soon as And then we got something else going on tonight. This is our last night. Network 216.
Yeah.
Broadcasting on the Network 216 network.
Yeah, it's been a really good time with them the last, year and a half? Is almost 2 years, but we met a lot of great people. We got a lot of new viewers that we didn't have before. We had some shows we were getting 50 to 100 live viewers. I mean, that's not something we saw before we were in the network. So we appreciate everything they did, the thumbnails, the homage apparel, everything else. It was great. I know, Ed, you weren't here for a lot of it, but you're filling in for Andy now. So what do you think Andy would say?
I think you're doing a good job in speaking what Andy would say. I mean, anytime there's a separation, you always think and you move on and you just become better. And the Dog Chug in 2024, make it great again, guys. That's really much. That's all you can say.
Yeah, the year of the chug.
The year of the chug. You know what? I'll chug to that one. We'll get into a sip, spit, chug later, but that's a good.
What are you drinking on Andy's behalf tonight?
Well, I'm going with the tried and true, the thing that's made Ed in Columbus tick since I was about 16 years old, and that's Mountain Dew.
Since 16,
and I don't need any alcohol
until you were 16.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. My first job, my first real job, I was a paper boy. That was my first job, but. When I was 16, I started at Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I fell in love with Fountain Mountain Dew. And a couple kidney stones later, and I've been drinking it ever since.
Where's Sherry? You see Sherry?
Yeah.
She was on last night with Ed, and let's talk about that, man. That was a great show last night. You, Sherry, were on the Squad Pod, Bougie Sports Network, and man, what a good show that was. I enjoyed it. I was washing dishes while I was listening.
Oh, I appreciate that. So shout out to Yvette, Lana, Lysandra, and Sherry, my co-guest yesterday when I was on there as a guest. They do a great job over there on Bougie Sports. It was a really fun time, and we played a game. Lana had a game for us, and it was Yankee Candle or Porn Star, and she would throw out a name, and that was very fun.
It was a great game. Like April Breeze.
Yeah. Amber Rain. I knew that. I knew she was a porn star. I knew she was a porn star.
Yeah, Lana. I give her Lana. That was brilliant. Beautiful work by Lana, man. That was a brilliant bit. Yeah, I'm jealous, actually. I was listening. I was like, damn, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, a lot of people are tuning into our show today, not because of Ed. Sorry, Ed. Not because of Roger or myself. They're actually here because they saw we tagged John Hilberry. If you're not familiar with his work, he does a lot of great funny posts on Twitter, just general things about his life going on. He's got a few other burner accounts that I'm sure he could elaborate on. And he has elaborated in the past, but maybe he doesn't want to expose his identity on those because the fake news thing is really helping him out in ways that we don't want to know, probably. I know Roger's old Facebook friends are sharing the shit out of his fake posts. We could talk about that more. But Roger's old people friends on Facebook love some of John Hilberry's posts. I'll tell you that. But without further ado, we're bringing on John Hilberry. What's up, dude?
What's up, fellas? How goes it?
Man, this is your second appearance on the Chug. I'm just happy you came back and you weren't scared away.
To be honest, I couldn't even remember the first one. So
you did it right.
That's you lived in a much bigger place. You had like a gigantic living room, man. like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
gigantic.
Making money moves.
So
Weren't
what
you
you been
at
up to,
work or
John?
something? Like the whole show, I'm like, oh my God, look at how big his house is. And you were like at work in like an atrium or something.
Yeah, yeah. I was the last time I was on here, I was actually posted up at work in like our little like social area, and we got
That's
a bunch
right.
of
Yeah.
beers and alcohol and stuff. And I think that was actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the Thursday night Steelers game like a couple years ago. But yeah, I was on one that night, and it was pretty fun. It was a lot of fun.
We had a blast, man.
Who was that coworker you kept harassing while we were on the show? You kept trying to get him on camera.
Oh man, I don't know.
You were chasing him around.
Eventually, you got him to say something.
Really?
I
Yeah,
forget
you
who it
eventually
was,
got
but
him to
you're-
talk. Yeah.
I don't remember
It was
that.
toward the end of the show,
No,
maybe
that
when
was-
you were at that.
I wonder if
inebriated
it
state.
might have been my friend Connor, but I don't know.
John's like, it wasn't a hostage situation. Don't worry about it. You have
Yeah.
yeah, you're good.
I wasn't keeping people hostage. At
Right.
work,
right.
but,
Here's some
yeah, I don't-
beer. Here's some beer. Please stay.
Wow, I must have had one too many chugs that night.
You can't go wrong with doing that. It's happened before.
Very true.
You should come on our next shit show. Those are something else. We usually make it a Friday night or a Saturday night because we don't want to work the next day.
Well, can't work the next day is more appropriate.
Well, John, we prepared a very special top 10 for you today. Roger made it extra special because he knows you have the Lake Erie Emo Club and you love all the emo music and the emo scene. And you're an advocate for it in the Cleveland area. So, Roger, can you share with him what you got tonight?
Yeah, I had to ask Ross like to define emo for me, and he kind of gave me a rundown of it. And I was like, oh, my kids. Oh, okay. I got 3 of them upstairs. I got 3 emos upstairs. But these are the top 10 most emo Cleveland athletes. Top 10 most emo Cleveland athletes. Say that 10 times. Number 10, Johnny Manziel. Win or lose, we booze, but also don't try, then cry. Johnny Manziel. Number 9, Brady Quinn. His makeup says it all. Number 8, Tim Couch. Hurt feelings from being booed? Sure. But shut down and detached because his center, Jim Pine, railed and stole his Playboy centerfold wife.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Number 7, Joe Thomas. He had to be an emo if he didn't want to be traded out of Cleveland when given the chance.
Pain and suffering.
Number 6, Albert Bell. Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. How did he get on this list? Joey clothesline fucking emos on his way to second base. Number 5, Bro Ohio, Nick Swisher. Behind all his mannerisms is a guy who cries alone in the dark. Number 4, Quincy Avery. Wait, another one that's not supposed to. He's not an emo or a player. He's just Watson's whiny mouthpiece. Number 3. Oh, what happened to it?
His dad must have got it.
Yeah, I think this one speaks for itself. OBJ.
Odell Beckham Jr. I forgot what I wrote. Odell Beckham Jr. opened up to his dad, and he told fucking everybody. Number 2, Baker Mayfield. Anyone who shaves his 3 times on game day has some deep issues. And the number 1 most Cleveland emo athlete, LeBron James. I want out of Cleveland because Delonte West plowed my mom.
I thought there might be something there with the flopping on him.
And that's our top 10.
Yeah.
That's a respectable top 10.
Do you think there's any athletes that were clearly
Omitted
missing from this or omitted? Now, knowing that you're the emo expert.
Yeah,
of
some
Cleveland.
that shouldn't have been on there, or
Oh
was
man,
I way off base?
my immediate thought was like LeBron is the number 1 emo guy in Cleveland sports. I mean, just think about like how he would have a bad call or a bad game or a bad showing, or somebody would just do something that got under his skin, and he wouldn't like directly confront them. He would just subtweet or take like photos in the mirror I still remember like there was this meme where he's like, maybe it's me. But like I remember like he would I remember David Black got fired, and right before David Black got fired, LeBron was just posting like mirror selfies, just like not smiling. He was just like, yeah, we're 20-20 and I'm fucking miserable.
Yeah, he's miserable and he's very passive aggressive, and he doesn't show it.
Well, John, what define, that's great because, we got that list and everything, and you're pointing out LeBron James, but what defines emo? Because, you talked about, looking in the mirror, not happy and things like that. And we all make a lot of the emo misconceptions. So can you kind of define what emo is, and then obviously lay out some of the things that may be misconstrued about the emo nation?
Well, if I had to explain it, I mean, I think it's people, and it's a lifestyle, but it's also like a music. So like the music is typically like pop punk or punky, very like emotional lyrics. So think of something similar to like Blink-182 or Taking Back Sunday, or there's other like bands that are considered like emo, but like they're more like metal. Yeah, My Chemical Romance is a big one. Other ones like people even consider like Bullet for My Valentine some kind of emo, because it also kind of ties in the lifestyle. So like typical like prime emo people were like very like introspective and like shy, and they like to talk about their feelings. Usually emo people are like a little artsy, and like they're all about like their relationships, whether it's like their boyfriend or their girlfriend. I don't know, like it's just like it was just such a strange time. I mean, I wasn't like an outward emo growing up, but I kind of had like the personality of it. Like I was always like very like, wham, my life, I'm so misunderstood. Wham, the Cleveland Browns are terrible. Wham, I can't wait to move out of North Homestead. And so, like I kind of always felt that way. And then at one point I finally met like one of my ex-girlfriends. And she ended up like basically changing my entire taste of music to like be like emo music. And then I was like just going down this rabbit hole. And truthfully, I've probably not been the same person since that. But it's nice to be able to like express myself. And like, I don't know, like the thing that I like about it is I'm a huge music person. And when like just when that sound, like the sound sounds right and the song's hitting and the lyrics are hitting, like it just feels good, because it's like, wow, like somebody really knows how to like put their feelings like into words, you know what I mean? And that's something that like somebody like myself like struggles with sometimes. So I don't know, emo is, I think it's a little bit of what you make it these days, but like back in the day it was like, all right, I'm going to be wearing skinny jeans, a band tee, I'm going to have the blackout Justin Bieber hair, and a pair of Vans on, and
I don't have to wear a guy liner if I want to be emo. I don't have to wear a guy liner, right?
I think that's optional.
I might want to, though. I'm not saying I don't want to. I'm just saying I don't have to.
Hey,
yeah, no.
I put my feelings into it when I write the top 10. And hey, I listened to The Cure in the 80s, brother. I was going to clubs, 9 of clubs.
Roger, you must be an elder emo then.
Yeah.
I'm an elder.
Yeah, like Sherry, who commented, said like she was saying, "Oh, I'm a goth." Yeah, like goth was like the OGs.
Yeah,
if you're comparing it, but I'm like a similar age to Hillberry, and yeah, it's more of a music scene thing. Like you could be called emo if you follow emo music, but you could also be emo if like you have that demeanor or stereotype a little bit sometimes. Emo is definitely right after the pop punk craze, where like it was topping the charts and stuff. The emo stuff came out like, that was like, oh, the trail end of pop punk. Yep. And things were definitely getting more like sad and sappy. And that's where the term emo really came from. It's like there were pop punk fans making fun of emo when emo came out. And now they're just saying emo and pop punk are the same thing because it's like a culture, like John said. So kind of like,
it seems like it's taken over, yeah. John. And I mean, because you got events planned. I see you on X all the time with your emo club and everything like that. And I think it's great. I think it's it's great to get a bunch of people together with similar tastes and everything. And like I said, I think emo is one of those things, especially I'm a little bit older, so you hear that term, and sometimes I'm not saying it's a derogatory thing or anything like that, but to older people, when you say emo, oh, stop it with your feelings and everything like that. They don't quite understand it. And then but to your point, it is such a cultural phenomenon. And it is about the music and everything. And I'm glad to see you guys getting into that. And it's always fun to see people in Northeast Ohio, especially, gather together for fun events, because we all love our Cleveland Browns, but sometimes they don't always bring the fun. You know what I'm saying? Especially what happened against Houston. So I'm glad to see you doing what you're doing. And it's fun to see people enjoying music and culture and everything.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. And yeah, if I knew what was going to happen to the Browns against the Texans, I probably would have hosted an emo night right
There
after
you go. We needed one, John. We needed one.
Who's I think a dark horse candidate for like a very emo person could be Kevin Stefanski, because he doesn't show it to us, but maybe he's at home writing dope lyrics to some pop punk songs. Like that's where his raw emotion is being put into the music that we haven't heard yet.
Oh.
I could definitely see that. I mean, like, he's just so stoic and just like,
yeah, whatever. I'm here to talk about football, not my feelings, but I talk about my feelings with this guitar right here. Maybe he'll pop into Lakewood sometime and see you in the clubs.
Hey, he's been around Lakewood every now and then. I think his kids go to school like over in Lakewood somewhere, but one of my old bosses at my job, he would be like, yeah, I saw Kevin Stefanski the other day. He's like, he's actually super like personable in person. So I think it's just all a play.
I got sources. Field. I'm pretty sure his kids are going to be going to Ignatius.
Oh, wow.
I have in-law that may or may not work for the Cleveland Diocese.
Okay.
And I've actually met Kevin Stefanski a couple times, but that's the only source the Dog Chug has ever had. The Catholic diocese is our only connection. The Dog Chug, go figure.
Roger, would Deshaun Watson be emo? Would you? Because I know Roger has been. I've seen on X lately, and Roger's been having some interactions with certain people associated with Deshaun Watson. Would you say Watson's a little emo, Roger? Would you characterize him?
Oh yeah, and he's got his mouthpiece who blocked me. And coincidentally, as soon as Quincy Avery blocked me, Deshaun blocked me immediately. It's like simultaneously.
I wanted to get that out there for you, right? So that's why,
simultaneously. Lysandra joined us. Look at that. It's good to see her, man. I'm glad she's joining us tonight. But I want to ask you about the same guy wrote about I got a DM from a Bill Murray guy. And he was talking about the same Quincy Avery. Did you see that stuff going around? The Ron Bill Murray guy.
Ron Bill Murray,
Ron
Bill Murray is a menace. And all I'm saying is I've never seen John Hilberry and Ron Bill Murray in the same room.
Me neither. True.
That's not coincidence either.
Alfred and Batman and
all of them.
Yeah, so Ron Bill Murray, so obviously I think everybody here has seen, Ballsack Sports and some of the other parody reporter accounts. So a couple of years ago, I actually just was like, you know what? Like, I want to join in on this fun. And like, if you guys have followed me for a long enough time, you've seen that I've changed my profile picture previously, like during Browns games. I think the one time I switched it, actually, this was before like you would get like a slap on the wrist for, changing your profile picture and impersonating somebody. But I remember the first time I did it, I switched my profile picture to the Browns, and I said that we cut Austin Seibert at halftime, and it picked up, and people were freaking out, and they're like, whoa, you're quick with that. So I remember doing that, and then I played around with that a couple times. And then I remember like 4 years ago when I was kind of looking for my first job out of college, I switched. So I actually tweeted earlier in the day. I was like, yeah, like I got a job interview, and I was actually going to this place in Solon to like do like e-commerce. And later that day, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to like change it and just say that, oh, by the way, like I went to the Browns for like a job interview. And so I switched my profile picture to the NFL, and they were like, hey, we just conducted an interview with John Hilberry for our head coaching position, and people were replying, and they're like, who the fuck is that guy? And like, I kept like just adding in things. Like I said that I was part of Coach Klein's staff from the University of, Southern Louisiana, go Mud Dogs. So, I used to, play around on my main account and kind of change around my profile picture, and just to kind of keep it safe, because it's kind of grown to almost 15,000 followers. I'm trying to, not get banned or like thrown in Twitter jail, because that's happened before. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to create a fake reporter. I'm going to pull a stock image off of, Google. And I'm like, I'm just going to change up my my first and my last name a little bit. And I came to Ron Billmary. And I was like, you know what? That sounds great. And then I was like, well, I'm going to, say he went to Northwestern University and he works for NBC Sports and he's affiliated with Ballsack Sports. And it was so funny. So I've never shared this, but other fake reporters started messaging Ron Billmary, and they're like, dude, we love your content. Like this one guy, his name was Tony David Pat. He was like a big fan of your work. He's like, I'm actually like a college student in Indiana. Where about you? And I'm like, oh, I'm just this normal dude from Cleveland, Ohio, just trying to spread a little fake news and farm engagement. But like if you go down like the Ballsack Sports Network, there's Ron Billmary. There was Tony David Pat. There was a guy named Buster Cherry. There is also Dion Fibber, which I thought was fucking hilarious. So there's just a number of funny like fake reporters out there. And honestly, at the end of the day, like, yeah, spreading like false information on the internet is terrible, but it's also hilarious because people do not, check things before they retweet it. And to be honest, it's just funny because like I kind of always have towed the line on satire on my main account. And it's like, especially with this recent like Odell Senior stuff, like that's something that people were expecting for him to say after the game on Sunday. Yeah. And for me to just like go in there and capitalize on it, thought that was just perfect.
Yeah, didn't they get like 12,000 likes or something?
Yeah, so it got 12,000 likes. I looked at the analytics. It had over 4.5 million impressions. It also had 345,000 profile visits, and Ron Billmary's follower count went from like 900 to like 1,500 followers. So I got 600 followers out of the stunt.
There you go.
Wow. That seems pretty real to me. That seems pretty real.
I did an account. It was Orange Grossy, and I started doing that, and it was back in 2015, and I got locked out. I couldn't get back into it. It's still in Twitter, but I don't know the password. It's still there, Orange Grossy, and I had to up. And I do satire Grossy, and a lot of times I just retweet what he did and say something different, and.
Just switch up the homework just a little bit.
But then I don't know. I got away from it. I left Twitter for a while, and then I came back, and then I met Nick Carnes, and here we are. We're leaving Network 216.
Yeah, my big, I don't know, my big thing, like the entire time that I've been on Twitter. So I've been on Twitter since 2013, and I kind of got more involved with sports Twitter around 2016. And I would say like the biggest inspiration for me, obviously, was McNeil's tweets. Oh, yeah. I remember when his account had 12,000 followers. And I just remember just like, I love memes in general. So I was like, well, I'm just going to use this for just humor and sports. And like, if people don't like what I'm tweeting, like half the time it's not serious anyways. So it's like, I'm just throwing things at a wall and hoping something sticks most of the time. But yeah, it's crazy, like to see how much my account has grown. And like, I always just tell people, like, if you're looking for like fun sports humor, like definitely keep following me. Cause that's what I'm here for. I want to bring lightheartedness to, terrible Cleveland sports moments.
John, I like what you do, John, because here's why. Because I think, if you would go back in like Browns fandom per se, in like the 80s or 90s, you would think most people that follow the Browns and sports would be like jocks, this or that. But if you look at like social media, you got your emo community, but you're also a big Browns fan, a big sports fan, and you kind of bridge the gap there. So people that, follow your account and everything, they get the best of both worlds. And I think that's one thing great about social media is it does bridge the gap between different styles, lifestyles, this or that, but we all have one common goal. And I think that's kind of what you kind of, allude to with what you're doing in your stuff. So I commend you, brother, for
Appreciate that, man. Yeah. I mean, I've always just kind of presented myself as like the everyday average Cleveland dude. I mean, I'm 30 years old. I'm in the middle of, beginning my career, and, I've always loved Cleveland sports. So it's like, I've always been able to make friends easily too. And that's always translated online well. So it's like, I've even gotten to the point where people do recognize me if I'm down at the stadium or somewhere over in the warehouse district, just getting fucking after it. And
what does that mean, John? Getting after what does that mean nowadays?
Means I'm having a beer, my friend.
There you go.
And I just have always just been so personable and like easygoing, and so if people do happen to see me out in public, I'm always happy to have a conversation, talk sports, and I don't know. I just try to be a likable person, and I just want to spread humor and just have fun with it.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna play our staple game here at the Dog Chug and play Spit Sip Chug. So to recap the rules for you, John, since you were pretty damn drunk the last time you were on, I think it was near the end of the show. So we say a statement, and if you strongly agree, you chug whatever you're drinking. If you're in the middle, you sip, and if you disagree, you do a. I mean, if you want to spit on the ground, you can. You can spit on Ed. I don't care, whatever.
Yeah. If you can spit up, you can get Ross. But if you spit over,
if you strongly disagree, you spit. So I'll be throwing the statements on the screen. We'll go clockwise. I'll let you know who's up and everything. But the first statement, and we're gonna start with Roger on this one. Spit, sip, chug. Ken Dorsey. Oh, I just spelled that wrong on there. Wow, I should probably correct that. In a professional podcast. Dorsey will get Deshaun Watson to surpass 4,000 passing yards next season. What do you think?
Man, I'd like to chug on it because Ken Dorsey, does have a track record of he's here to be a quarterback coach. And he's got another title, so he gets paid more, and he's doing exactly what Van Pelt was doing, but he works with the type of quarterback Deshaun Watson is or was or may still be when he worked with Cam Newton and Josh Allen. But to surpass 4,000 passing yards is the part so I got to sip on it. There's no rules. Andy isn't here to tell me I can't sip. So I'm going to sip because I don't know if it's 4,000 yards, but he's going to help him be a better passer, be a better quarterback. How about that? In the passing game.
All right, Ed, what do you think?
Well, I'm going to say with Roger saying I'm sipping because Andy's not here.
Oh, boy.
Here's why. And it's nothing to do with Ken Dorsey, but let's be real. To get 4,000 yards in the NFL, you only have to pass for 235.29 yards a game. 235 yards a game. And here's the thing. Deshaun Watson has improved. He can stay healthy for 17 games. So that's the problem right there. It's not that, getting 4,000 yards is the biggest accomplishment in the world in the NFL anymore. It's the fact that he needs to stay on the field. So if Deshaun Watson can actually play all 17 games, 4,000 yards is nothing. So let's be real. So that's why I think it's doable. Yeah.
If he plays 6, it's incredible.
So that's why I'm sipping.
All right, Hillberry, what do you think?
Think I'm gonna follow suit with the fellas. I think I got a sip on this one, and let me get this sip in, and then I'll drop.
Yeah, there you go.
Wise man.
So I think there's a lot of question marks still. I mean, obviously, we're going to the third year of Deshaun Watson playing quarterback. He's not played a full year. Obviously, I think towards the end of this year, especially with that Ravens game as well as the Titans game, you could see that he still has the arm power. And, I think some factors to consider is A, is Nick Chubb going to be there to begin the season or be on the Browns at all next year? That could factor how they're throwing the ball. B, are they going to add in T. Higgins or some other wide receiver in the offseason that gives him another target to throw to that could be dependable as, Amari Cooper? And 3, I think that the possibility, there is for him to be able to throw the ball for 4,000 yards. But I'm also a little apprehensive because he also likes to use his legs. So I think that there's going to be opportunities where, he might have been able to throw the ball, but he's also probably just going to go ahead and pick those yards up with his legs and, stack his stats that way. So that's why I'm sipping. I'm on the fence. I'm optimistic, but at the end of the day, I think that there's so many question marks on the team's roster next year that's going to dictate how much he throws the ball and how much success there's going to be.
All right.
Right.
Well, I'm not going to be
I'm gonna
in
chug
the
on
middle
your
with you
sip.
guys and just give no
I'm
opinion
chugging
and
on
be
that too.
lukewarm on everything. I'm going to spit on this. I have zero reason to have any faith in Deshaun. Like, he hasn't really done anything. Like, everyone's riding high on the last thing he did before he got hurt, throwing for 100% accuracy in the second half against the Ravens. That was awesome, but that was the pinnacle of his Browns career so far, and that was it. Like, that's not going to happen again. Like, he could have improved throughout the season, and he's going to come off an injury, and he hasn't proven he's got what he used to have. Plus, if he gets hurt again, he has all the incentive in the world to not play it out. As much as people want to say he's a fighter, and he did kind of prove that, playing through a second half with an injury and being like, I can't play the rest of the season after just playing awesome. But he does have incentive to, sit a game out here and there, which will make it harder to go over 4,000 yards. If it was a situation where he's like, crap, I got to play a couple more games to get a couple more bucks, yeah, he's going to get that 235 yards a game. But, that average goes up that yards per game you need goes up pretty quickly when you even miss one game. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the one argument. But yeah, I don't have. I'm on the side of Deshaun as a fan where it's like, we paid I think a few people have said this, but like, we paid a crap ton of money for you, so we're not going to treat you like a draft pick. We're not going to give you these chances. I'm doubting you right now because you haven't proved that you can consistently be awesome. Yeah, you were, 5-1 as a starter, but like, let's be real. Like, we weren't 5-1 because of him. Right. Everybody knows it. We were not 5-1.
Don't say that on X, man. The Watson Warriors will come after you.
Oh, the Watson Warriors.
Watch
you
the
don't got to
Watson
worry about it.
Warriors.
What you got to worry about is season ticket holders like me who will actually not give the literal organization money anymore. I'm actually paying them. When I resell my tickets, that money doesn't go to the organization. Trust me. You can lose me, and I'm actually affecting the money you get. Unless someone buys my season tickets right behind me. But anyways, I don't know what I'm proving there. So just prove it, and he hasn't proved it yet.
I'm just proud I brought math to the dog chug. I'm just proud I brought math.
You know what? I could share something with you real quick. This is what I did on my screen right before you were talking. I did the same freaking thing.
Did you? Look at that. And I did, and I have that on. That's funny. I have that on mine too.
Wait, you guys are doing math?
We're doing math. We're math.
So John, I forgot to tell you, there's another segment on the Dog Chug called Sophisticated Math. We go around the room and we do math equations and analytics because the Browns are very analytical. So
God damn it. I thought I finally escaped the quadratic formula.
Nope.
Never can. You can't do it.
Okay, so the next statement is going to be Cavs related, and we will start with Ed on this one. The Cavs will still be a 4 seed or better when the playoffs start.
Oh, I'm chugging on this. They got Evan Mobley back. They got Darius Garland back. And I was actually kind of scared of that because the Cavs have been playing so well with Donovan Mitchell kind of leading the rest of the group. And but now they're 16-4 in their last 20. They got a nice gritty win over Detroit tonight when they weren't playing their best. But Garland played, and he made some nice plays. Evan Mobley looks like he's going to be a player. And, I don't see why not. The Eastern Conference is, they were, a 4 seed last year. And I don't see why they wouldn't do basically the same thing this year. I think you got the two upper teams in Milwaukee and Boston, but other than that, then it's kind of like us and then, the rest. And I feel really confident about this Cavs team. We're going to go as far, I think, as Donovan Mitchell kind of takes us. He kind of didn't play as well against the Knicks last year, but in the first round of the playoffs. But in regular seasons, not the playoffs, and you get a new opponent every night. So, yeah, absolutely, I'm chugging on that one. Oh, let them know. Let them know.
All right, Hillberry, what do you think?
Ed, I'm right there with you. Let's fucking chug.
Let's chug. I'm gonna chug with you again because
I think the Cavs are positioned perfectly right now. I think everybody's getting healthy at the right time. I think they've been hot lately. And to Ed's point, they were the 4 seed last year. I don't see why they would drop any further below that. obviously, yeah, the Celtics and the Bucks are kind of, neck and neck for that 1 seed. And then obviously you have, who is it? The Knicks, Cavs, 76ers, and you have the Pacers all within like 4 games of each other. So I think it'll definitely be a dogfight, but I mean, I think the Cavs too are going to benefit from playing in the Central. I think you have a couple more games, if I'm not mistaken, against the Pistons, as well as some of these other weaker teams that they can kind of probably beat up on. So I'm optimistic. I think the Cavs are going to end up in the 4 seed, and then hopefully we can, actually win a playoff series this year.
Nice.
Absolutely. I'm going to join the chug train. Unfortunately, I didn't realize I was out of beer, so I poured a Crown and Coke.
Well, if you chew the ice, I think that counts as a.
Yeah, I know. I'm out of it. It's empty, but it was strong. It's the equivalent of like 2 or 3 beers there that I just had. Yeah, I'm chugging on it because, like Hillberry said, we're hitting our peak at the right time of the season. Like early in the season, we said, "Oh man, this is a rough start, but we'll figure it out." We have proven talent that has been here before, and that's exactly what's happening now. We won 11 of our last 12 games. We're getting healthy. It's definitely the elephant in the room, the whole Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell on the floor at the same time thing, because when one of them's out, the other does awesome and the team wins. And when the other one's out, the guy does awesome and the team wins. So like we win when one of them's out. It's really weird. Like the team's really good when one of them is out. There is definitely a world where it'll work for both of them, because Darius Garland is like your traditional point guard who's going to share the ball, where Donovan Mitchell can get away with ball hogging because he has a really good shooting percentage and he's a playmaker, and like he's allowed to hog the ball for that reason. So
you're too good. You can hog it, son.
It's such a weird combo where they're both awesome, and there's a world where they can exist together. We saw that at the beginning of last year, where we were the 2 seed for like the first 20 games of the season last year. Mm-hmm. We know that's possible, and Jared Allen, just get your confidence up, because you admitted that you weren't confident in the playoffs. But yeah, 4 seed or better, we can get there. I mean, the East is so tight though. That's the crazy part. Like you can do exactly what you're doing now and end up being the 5 seed. So, but I'm chugging because why be pessimistic? There's no reason.
And that's what Brown season's all about, right?
I know, right? Like we made the playoffs and then we found a way to still be mad. Like that's like the Super Bowl for us. Like between Browns fans, we're allowed to say that to each other.
Right.
If other fan bases say that's our Super Bowl, we get mad. But that was our Super Bowl. Let's be real.
Real question, guys, real quick. If the Cavs do end up, going on like a playoff run and something happens, knock on everything in my apartment, who would be the Joe Flacco equivalent that the Cavs could sign to lead them into the playoffs?
Oh God, I'm trying.
Matthew Dellavedova.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's got a special place.
Hey, was that song an emo song? Dellavedova.
That's a sick bass
the
drop.
The NBA equivalent is like, those like veteran players that are on crappy teams and they just get cut. Mm-hmm. That's what it would be, and I can't think of the candidates for that right now, because it's not going to be like a trade deadline player. It's definitely going to be a cut veteran. Man, I have to do my research. That's a good question though. Maybe we should ask Ron Billmary who he.
Yeah, Brian. We got inside sources here. We got the
right, Billmary.
Let me hit his line. We'll see what happens after the chug.
As long as it's a veteran who isn't like doing steroids like Tristan Thompson, then we'll be fine. So Roger, what's your take on it? I know you're a diehard Cavs fan.
I'm gonna chug on it.
Ooh, that's 4 chugs.
You know what? They're a great regular season team. They come in town, they hit you, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, $10 holler, and they're out. You don't even know what you're spinning, and they're gone, and they beat you. And they run you up and down the floor, and they go from city to city, and they're doing this. They're not on the pace of, like, say, the 2015 Hawks, who just blew everybody. It was like they just landslide through the regular season. But that's the way they play, where they come in, they hit you, and my concern is, I have a couple concerns. Is Bickerstaff, right now, was he 8-9 man rotation with everybody healthy? You got to get number 5 minutes, man. His minutes cannot go down, and the other thing is that like you said, Donovan Mitchell and Garland playing together on the floor at the same time. But you know who's my favorite Cav? And I said this, Ross will tell you that I've loved this kid and I've supported him since I called him Okoro. And Ross started laughing at me
You
on
said
the dog
Okoro.
show.
You said
And
Okoro.
he
Okoro.
said, I
Okoro.
called him. That's how long when we first. And I said, watch, he's going to be one of the best defenders in the NBA. You know what? And he's right there. He's right there, man. I sit and watch the Cavs. I just want to watch him play defense. Yeah, I'm chugging on it. 4 or better. And the best thing about them being the way they are and just a good regular season team is you can be 4 or higher. You know what I mean? Playing at this clip, and we'll worry about the playoffs when we get there and who we match up. And that's what the playoffs is, and in any sport, who's your matchup, and we drew the Knicks last year. So but I'm excited about them. They're fun to watch again. Sam Merrill just lights out. That kid is just they're fun to watch. So yeah, I'm chugging on it.
There we go, Roger. He's all in. That's not our
Let him
motto
know.
this year, but all in, baby.
Roger's letting them know. We're all letting them know with Chuck.
I'm letting them know.
Letting them know.
I stopped reading. Hey, I'm so into the Cavs right now. I stopped reading and studying baseball and all the minor league prospects and stuff I was into. I stopped and I've been paying attention to the Cavs instead. So they got me. Yep.
Okay, so the next statement: Ken Dorsey should call plays in the 2023-24 season. Hillberry, we're going to start with you.
Mm.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm glad he's going first.
That's fucked.
We're gonna circulate this clip to all the haters.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna say if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I'm spitting there. So sorry, Ed. I trust Kevin Stefanski. I know he's what we're gonna get out of there. I feel like the benefit of Ken Dorsey is being able to work with Deshaun to kind of work on a more of a quarterback coaching position. I love the work that Dorsey did with Josh Allen up in Buffalo. So honestly, I would love for Kevin just to kind of keep doing his thing. I mean, I know it's not the sexiest offense, like you're just going to run the ball, do a little play action. I do think, that especially with seeing Flacco come off the couch and just like tear it up, like Kevin Stefanski, obviously he's not the problem. And I think that, if you get, the right amount of quarterback play, the play calling from Kevin is going to support that. So I'm spitting at that. I'm sorry. But I just trust Kevin Stefanski to kind of make the right play. And hopefully, it is what it is. We'll see what happens, but I would trust Ken Dorsey more so to just, go in there and just be a good quarterback coach for Deshaun.
Oh man. So I'm up. I got to call on myself. This is a tough one, but I don't want to pull Roger and Sip because that's like giving no opinion. I got to go on one side of the spectrum here. I'm going to join Hillberry in spitting on this. I'll spit on Ed.
Oh, shit.
Just keep it going. Yeah, Kevin Stefanski. I mean, he proved it so much this year with what he was doing. Like, it's just so hard to like bash him. The only thing I could bash him for is like his play calling again on the Seahawks game literally lost us a game. That's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like a play call that literally loses you a game. That could have cost us getting in the playoffs, but thankfully it didn't because he made up for it across multiple games. But he figures it out. He's got a system. The only thing that I thought about sipping on was there's a reason they hired Ken Dorsey and got a new coordinator. It couldn't have just been like Van Pelt. Like Van Pelt must have not been doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was either, hey, we're giving out the play calling duties. You're getting it. That's why we need a new one. You're not the guy for that. You're just like a quarterback guy, frankly. Or it was like, we got to find a guy that really is bought into like whatever analytics thing we're doing. And I think that's where Ken Dorsey might fall. And he's just going to go with the flow. Because like, didn't they say all the candidates we were interviewing and then all of a sudden they're like, Ken Dorsey's hired? Like they listed like 4 different candidates we were interviewing. And Ken Dorsey was not one of them. And then they're like,
And they did it.
He's our OC.
And they did it in the middle of the AFC championship or like right at the end of it. So it was like, just like, I was like caught off guard. I was like, what the hell do you mean Ken Dorsey was hired by the Browns?
So there must have been something where like they gave him like these like 4 facts on a memo and said, this is what you're doing. Are you good at this? And he said, yes, let me prove it to you. And they're like, holy shit. You're like bought into whatever we're doing, whatever Paul D. Podesta and the gang are up to. He's like, yeah, I'm all about that. And they're like, cool, you're signed up. Like, I just think everything's so systematic with our team where if they just got a guy that's just like, I'm on board. But that's it. And I think part of that is Kevin still calling plays. So Roger, what you got?
I'm spitting.
At least he didn't spit on me. Thank you.
I'm spitting
what she
because
said.
I don't think that I think he was brought here for a specific reason. And I do think when you're a quarterback coach or you're working with quarterbacks that there may be guys that's worked with more of a style quarterback compared to the other. Where you see Van Pelt and when he got with Joe Flacco and a guy that can play with his back to the defense. Watson can't play with his back to the defense. He can't play under center. Joe Flacco can run play action. I think there's a different Ken Dorsey has a track record of working with quarterbacks that play in the pistol and the shotgun, whatever. I don't think he's here. Why would here's my biggest thing about Kevin Stefanski and the play calling. Kevin, we're going into season 3 with Deshaun Watson. He may not be healthy all year. We want you to give up play calling, and if everything goes to shit, you're going to lose your job. So take play calling off your resume this year, and so when we fire you, you don't have that. Give up play. That's like what he does. You know what I mean? That is like the first line on his fucking resume is play caller. He's not giving it up. I don't care I just don't see it. I just don't see it, man. Why would he? Why would he take that off his resume and stop doing that? And then everything goes to shit and you get fired, And now you're just a fired head coach and everything went to shit on, and you weren't even DOC anymore, or calling the plays. I don't see him doing it. And there's no reason for it. There's absolutely no reason for it because we saw what our offense can be with good quarterback play. We thought we had no wide receivers and David Njoku was just mid until Joe Flacco come in, dusted some Doritos off his fucking belly, rolled off his couch, looked around the room and said, let's roll. And started throwing the fucking ball all over the place in Kevin Stefanski's offense. But now we got to change everything. You got to give a fucking pint of blood and everything you got so Deshaun Watson can succeed. All hands on deck, and I don't get it, man. I don't get it. We know Kevin Stefanski, what we've seen it. We just saw it. And a week later, they want to tear it down and he needs to be replaced. What the fuck are we doing here, man? Maybe the guy that we pay $230 million needs to just go in there, stop going on podcasts with saying, trying to, he don't like the 15 scripted plays. My boss can give a shit what I like. You know what I mean? What's my job? Go in and do your job, man. I'm already tired of it. I've muted everything from Watson to massage therapists on Twitter. I don't want to see none of it. None of it.
Yeah, the jokes they're gonna write themselves still.
Yes.
We're public enemy number 1 until he's not our quarterback.
That's my rant.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I got a fun one for the last statement.
Well,
We
Roger, you asked what the fuck we're doing, and I'm going to answer this statement with a spit. And here's why. Kevin, sorry, John, it's from Columbus. It's good spit. It's good stuff. It's from Columbus. Good stuff. Kevin probably at home calls all the plays too, if you know what I mean. So Kevin is never giving up play calling, and nor should he, because if he gave up play calling, we as Browns fans, we couldn't make memes about his Denny's play calling sheet. We couldn't yell at him, when he goes for it on 4th down instead of kicking the field goal. But no, to Roger's point, everybody's point here, it wasn't the Browns offense. John made a great statement when he said Kevin wasn't the problem. And also too, I think Ross bring up a good point about Alex Van Pelt. I think what happened was he was bringing back lunch. and Kevin had asked for, a sandwich without certain condiments on it, and AVP probably, and Kevin's like, enough of that. And then Dorsey comes in. Dorsey comes in for the interview, and guess what? The food's correct, and nothing's better than when you bring him back a bunch of food for everybody, and the order is correct. I think that's what Ken Dorsey is. I don't think Kevin has to give up play calling. That's not the problem. I think to John's point and everybody's point here, he needs to be a better quarterbacks coach for Deshaun Watson and get this train moving. And yeah, I think it'll be fun. And Kevin's a handsome man, and there's a lot of people in Cleveland that want to see him call plays because they want a man that's sexy and also is in charge. Hey now,
is that you? Are you that person?
I plead the fifth.
Now that's classic dog chuck right there.
Oh, thank you.
So our last statement is not going to be Cleveland sports related, but it's going to be, I guess, Super Bowl hype. Travis Kelce will propose to Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl. So I guess I'll kick this one off. I'm very knowledgeable on Travis Kelce. I am a Bearcat. I was there while Travis Kelce was there, so I was following him very closely. Let's say, if you weren't at the 2012 Belk Bowl, you aren't as cool as me, all right? And Travis Kelce, he had a walk-off touchdown pretty much.
Is that in North Carolina, the Belk Bowl? Was that North Carolina?
Yeah, it's in Carolina.
I know my Belk Bowls.
Yeah, so the Belk Bowl, we had a running joke that the Bearcats, we own the Belk Bowl. That's where we went for 2 straight years. But he had a walk-off touchdown. I'm a certified Travis expert. I did not hop on the bandwagon because of Taylor. Don't worry, I'm not a Swiftie. But he's a good dude. He's from Cleveland. He's a Bearcat. He's got a great family around him, and Taylor sees that. She wants to hang out in the suites. She wants to hang out with his family constantly. I mean, you constantly hear about girlfriends or fiancés or wives not getting along with the mother-in-laws. I think Taylor's hitting it off pretty good with Mama Kelce over there. And Travis is getting the vibes. He's feeling it. Worst case scenario, he proposes and, they call off the engagement.
Right.
What's the worst that could happen? I mean,
that's never happened before with celebrities.
This could be the highest viewed Super Bowl of all time. And if you're the most famous person in the world and you're obviously okay with the attention, then you just get more attention. Do it. Do it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a chug.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Roger, I know you have strong opinions on Taylor Swift, and you're a Swiftie yourself. So, what do you got?
He must be jamming out to some Taylor Swift
right now.
I think he's jamming.
I'm sorry. I'm listening to Fearless. I'm a Swiftie. I'm a full-blown. I'm chugging. I'm a full-blown Swiftie. You know what? Saturday I went in. I'm going to make a post. I was going to do a post, and I was like, all right, I need some lyrics from one of her songs. I'm going to do something and mock, the whole thing. And I go into YouTube. I start listening. I fell on some acoustic shit she did, and I'm like, hey, this ain't bad. Like she's got a little bit of talent here. So, but then like everything, he's a Bearcat. He's from Cleveland Heights, and because it irks people, like makes me want to love her more. You know what I mean? Because people like are really just like so adamantly like against her being shown for like 20 seconds. Makes me want her to be out for 40. So I'm into it. I don't hate Kansas City. The Chiefs. I don't want to be the guy that because Mahomes is just something, man. But yeah, what was the actual question? Will he propose?
It's on the. You can actually see it on the screen if you look. Statement.
Yeah, no, I got it right here. I don't know if he's going to propose her.
Prescription.
If he proposed to her, they'll be divorced in a year. So how about that? I'll chug to that.
Well, I'm going to chug too. You got Kansas City, you got San Francisco, you got the Super Bowl, you got Las Vegas, you got Kelce and Tay-Tay, biggest thing going right now. I think it gets done. And guess what? I'm going to leave it with this. It's going to be Purdy when it happens.
Throw that one in there.
I'm all about bad puns, Ross. That hasn't ever changed.
I want everybody to get married and be miserable.
Yeah, equal opportunity.
I want to be fucking emos. I'm surprised more married people aren't emos.
Well, speaking of emos, this emo believes in Taylor and Travis. So that's why I'm
All
chugging.
right.
And I'm not only just chugging,
Whoa, I
I'm
see what you
chugging
got there.
a Great Lakes Vivacious Tall Boy. At 11 o'clock on a Wednesday, that's a little dangerous.
Let's go. Oh my goodness, look
What
at
is,
you.
what is that, like 9 or is that 8.5?
It's like a
9%?
9 point. I love it.
That tastes like a good night. That's what it tastes like. It's 9%.
9.
That's like a 9 point something, right?
Yeah, it's a 9%er.
Yeah, man.
Pillowy,
Yeah.
soft, so incredible. Probably my favorite beer by them.
That's great. It's a really good one.
I
It
got
is.
one up in the fridge. Yeah.
I hope so. Picture this: the Chiefs win the game, right? And then they're celebrating, they're finding each other at the field. I want Travis Kelce to go full blown Swiftie, and I want him to literally recite the lyrics from "Love Story" by Taylor Swift. I want him to say. He knelt to the ground and pulled out a ring and said, "Marry me, Taylor. You'll never have to be alone. I love you, and that's all I really know. I talked to your dad. We'll pick out the white dress. It's a love story, baby. Please just say yes."
And everyone goes wild.
It's gonna go wild, and then they're gonna end up divorced in like a year. But
or Jason Kelce comes and Stone Cold stunners him.
Right. You pull a Jim Payne.
I don't know.
Tony Romo will propose to Patrick Mahomes?
That should definitely happen.
Oh, Jim. Hey, Jim. Oh, Jim.
See, I try to pretend they don't exist, like his wife and his brother.
Tony's gonna be like, "I don't know, Patrick. Do you want this ride?"
Jim. Jim, what do you think about this, Jim?
I don't know, Jim.
He's turned into something, that Roman fella. Well, that wraps up a wonderful edition of Spit Sip Chug. I really wish Andy was here for this one. He would have enjoyed it. I'm sure he would have chugged it. He would have chugged 2 Vivaciouses just to one up you, Hillberry. You know how he goes.
Legend.
Video coming soon, probably.
Yeah, he'll probably do a Great Lakes ad just for you, chugging a variety pack or something.
I welcome it.
Well, yeah, this is actually all we got for today. John, thanks for coming on. Was there anything you wanted to say about what's going on with you or what's going on with your Lake Erie Emo Club? Anything coming up?
Give us some plugs, man.
Appreciate you guys having me. It's a fun time as always, and hope to be on the show again soon. Feel free to follow my account. If you don't follow me, if you do follow me, thanks for keeping up with me and all my shenanigans and all the fake tweets and the humor. If emo music's your thing too, feel free to come out to our next emo night. We're actually having it at Velvet Dog on West 6th in downtown Cleveland on February 23rd at 9 p.m. And it'll be free entry. And there's going to be a lot of cool things. So we're going from 9 p.m. to 2. And if you decide to come down, you want to say, hey, come up to the DJ booth and just, let me know that you follow me on Twitter. And I probably might not know your name at first, but I'm quick to make friends. So yeah.
Would I stand out there if I showed up? Would I stand out I feel like I'd be like John Candy when he goes looking for his niece at the party and somebody gonna take my hat,
Hey, Roger, people of all ages come to emo night. Like you could be 21 or you could be, 55.
I'll bring my 19-year-old daughter. She'll fit right in. I'm sure she's, yeah.
We welcome everybody. The emo community is very inclusive. So feel free to come on out. Sometimes, too, if you're on Twitter and you want to follow our page, it's Lake Erie Emos, all one word. My buddy Michael usually tweets at it from lunchtime, and I usually call him out on his shit. And then, Instagram, Lake Erie Emo Club, all one word. So, but appreciate you guys having me on, and, hope to do it again in the future. It's always a blast.
All right. Right on. Roger, Ed, you got any last words before we sign off?
No, man, I got nothing. We got big news. I think we got big news coming next week. Tonight was our last show on Network 216, and we're gonna maybe try to see if we can fill the fourth chair on Dog Chuck. But
Whoa.
we'll get into all that next. Yeah, we'll get into all that. And see what happens. We got Super Bowl show next week. I think I got a good guest lined up. I don't want to say anything until he confirms, but we'll be back next week.
And I want to thank everybody. Because I was going to binge watch some Southern Charm on Bravo, but that had to be paused for an hour. So I appreciate the time I get to spend on with you, John. Always a pleasure, my guy, doing great things. And Ross and Roger, love you like always. And it's been fun.
All right. Well, with that, if you got anything left, throw it up. Mine's empty, but go Browns, go Cavs, and go Guardians.